This is WPTV.
Welcome back to the virtual desk. Yeah, the NBA season's heating up, and there's been a lot of big moves already. The draft just ended, and joining me today on the virtual desk, we have Justis, Tristin, and Danny. Guys, it's been a crazy offseason already. The offseason just started, and it's already been crazy. Chris Paul. Chris Paul's one of the best point guards of all time. He had one of a resurgence year, I could say, in OKC after the Rockets didn't want him anymore. He got traded to Phoenix. Him and Devin Booker are going to be paired up together. Justis, do you think this is a good fit in Phoenix?
I do. I do agree with you when you said that he is one of the greatest point guards of all time. And sure. I do wish he would have went to a team that's contending for a title like the Bucks. But I think the Suns are a good fit. I think that on paper, him and Devin Booker are one of the best backcourts in the league. And I do think that they have a lot of young players that CP3 can work with. And you saw what he did this season with OKC with those young players, dragged them to the playoffs. The Suns went undefeated in the bubble. So yes. I do think that they're going to the playoffs next season.
The Thunder were a block shot away from maybe going to the next round. So it could have been very interesting. Danny, Devin Booker, he scored 71 points. Everybody knows this. The guy is a walking bucket, but he's never had much success. Do you think Chris Paul will guide him to some success this season?
Oh, absolutely. Considering what he did with OKC and coaching up and teaching up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I feel like CP3 is going to have a great influence on Devin Booker. And play style wise, I feel like Justis said, they're going to mesh well. CP3 is more of a passing point guard, pass first point guard. And I feel like Devin Booker is more of even though he has to play point and play make for the Suns in the past, I feel like now he can be more of his natural position as a shooting guard.
Yes. Tristin.
I think both of them have covered the basis of everything. I think it's just a veteran player for the Suns. I think he's going to help the young players a lot. I think he's going to be a great mentor for them. With the bubble performance, the fact that they were undefeated in the bubble, assuming everybody stays healthy, maybe Chris Paul allows them to make the playoffs. It might be a stretch in a 72-game season now.
See, that's what I was getting to. I was going to ask you, do you think they're going to be a playoff team?
I think it could be interesting. I think, again, a veteran presence makes a big difference. And with a young player like Devin Booker, like Danny said, I think it allows him to be a little more of himself. I think it allows him to be more of that walking bucket we know him as. So I think if even if he's taking a couple less shots because of Chris Paul, I think his playmaking ability finds Devin Booker open much more.
One of my favorite players in the NBA. A lot of people look at me sideways when I say this, but Jrue Holiday is one of my favorite players in the NBA. The guy, he's a quiet guy, really doesn't do much. He plays some of the best defense in the NBA. You ask mostly any guard, they're going to say Jrue Holiday's name, either first or second. But there's been a lot of rumors. They said maybe to the Nets, to the Clippers, but he ends up going to the Bucks. And also Bojan Bogdanovic is having some issues with the Bucks right now with some contract issues. But Jrue Holiday is there. They sent Eric Bledsoe and George Hill away. Do you think that, Danny, do you think this will put the Bucks over the hump? Because, it's going to be explosive in the East next year.
You mentioned the Bogdanovic deal that didn't fall through. I feel like if that deal happened, I feel like that quartet of Bogdanovic, Holiday, Middleton, and Llanos would have put them over the hump, honestly. But without that deal, I don't know. I still give the edge to the Nets in the East, in my honest opinion, between those two teams. But I like the deal. We talked about it in a group chat. I feel like the Bucks did something and they got a great player.
Tristin?
So the way I see it, I think the Pelicans rejected a lot for Anthony Davis. If I'm not mistaken, they ended up rejecting 6 first-round picks. But I think they did make up for it a little bit with this Holiday trade. I don't know if this Holiday trade puts them over the hump, but I think it helps them keep Giannis. I think it's a move that helps keep Giannis in Milwaukee with all the rumors and speculations of him potentially leaving. Holiday's a valuable asset to have on the team. He can give you at least 15 points. He's going to play defense for you. I think he's a solid asset. I think it's a step in the right direction for Milwaukee.
Justis?
Yeah, I agree. I do think that this made the team better, but I don't think it puts them over the hump. First off, I think they gave away too much. 3 first rounders, I think is too much for Jrue Holiday. I would have to disagree with you, Tristan. I don't think this is enough to keep Giannis. What the Bucks really needed was a second superstar, because whether Jrue Holiday is there or not, Chris Middleton is still the second option, and that's still a problem. And the Bucks needs Giannis has shown that he has struggled a little bit with closing out games. So I think the Bogdanovich deal would have helped, but I don't think they're over the hump.
I mean, that deal's up. The deal is still up in the air. We still don't have all the info
There
on
is
it.
an investigation.
Yeah, it is under investigation. That's very odd to hear the NBA say that something's under investigation. But Russell Westbrook, he had his first year in Houston, and he already wants out. This is very interesting. And with Westbrook running out, we're also hearing reports that James Harden wants to go to the Nets, or maybe Philly's been making some offers for him. Philly got off of Al Horford's big contract. But Justis, if James Harden is sent somewhere, I think I already know your answer. But if James Harden is sent somewhere, where do you want to see him next year or this year?
You already know my answer, Samory, the Brooklyn Nets. I've heard people talk about this, saying that James Harden won't be able to play with Kyrie Irving, acting like James Harden didn't just make it to the second round with Russell Westbrook. Like,
all right, no Westbrook slander. We're not going to do that now. No Westbrook slander.
I'm not slandering Russell Westbrook, but both Kyrie and Westbrook are they're ball hogs, both of them. So I honestly, with Kyrie, Harden, and KD, I really don't think it's that deep. Like, I feel like they would figure it out. Like, that's too much talent to the point where, kind of like that Golden State team with Kevin Durant, it would be unfair. They would obviously win the championship.
You think so? That'd be interesting. Danny, say Jay, because Houston said they want to keep him for as long as they can because they want to get as much as they can from him. Do you think that both of these stars stay on Houston for the beginning of the season, then they get traded in the middle of the season, or maybe in the early parts of the season?
I don't know. I know the Rockets said they're willing to get uncomfortable, but I don't know. I don't see it happening.
I'm not sure
for
if they
me,
want to do that.
For me, I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum with Justis here. I feel like it'll be a cluster with those three. And I feel like for the sake of the league, I want him to go to Philadelphia just to even things out. I don't want to see that big three. Yes,
yeah, I agree with you, Danny. I want to see some evenness in the NBA because it was good last year. We had all these duos last year, and now super teams are coming back. And everybody hated that when the Warriors were running roughshod over the NBA. But Tristin, if James Harden does go to Philadelphia, bearing that they probably keep Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, what do you think that does for Philly? Because Philly, they got swept out of the first round this year, even though Ben Simmons didn't play, but it's still something because they said trust the process, and the process has been dying down on me.
I actually think Philly would be interesting. I think for his case of winning a championship, I'm in between Danny and Justis. I think he should end up in Brooklyn, but I think Philly could be interesting. I think this is the last chance for Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid to coexist. So I think adding a player like James Harden, assuming that one of those players isn't a part of the trade, puts them over a large hump that they've been dealing with. It's a shooter that they lack desperately. It doesn't do much on the defensive side, but James Harden has been a significantly better defender than we've been giving him credit for recently. So I don't know. I think it does add evenness to the East. I would be interested in seeing it, but I'm also a salty Knicks fan that refuses to see the Knicks succeed at this point. So
that's fair. That's a valid point. But the NBA draft is this Wednesday. No blockbuster trades happened, even though some people speculated that the Warriors may move on with the second pick and look towards the future, but they did look towards the future as they kept the pick. Danny, we'll start with you. We didn't see any blockbusters, but quickly, what draft pick do you have your eye on? Because there's a lot of talent in this draft.
I know. With me, you know me, Nuggets representative here, so I got to go with RJ Hampton. With the Nuggets, since they can afford to, they've been drafting projects since 2018. MPJ, Bol, and now RJ Hampton. I feel like, considering with the nucleus we have enough time for him and the other two for them to develop.
Tristin?
Now, usually I would go with my Knicks. While I was a fan of that pick of Obi Toppin, I'm actually going to go with Melo Ball here. I think LaMelo Ball is such a talented player. I remember talking to Richard DeGroat at one point and having him tell me that he thinks that he was going to be the best out of the three brothers. And I called him crazy for it. I recently texted him. I was like, you know what? Hats off to you. I was wrong about that. He a 6'7" point guard. The kid's got eyes on the back of his head. His passing is incredible. He's a playmaker, man. I don't know about the fit in Charlotte, but Charlotte just needs everything. So I think he's going to be interesting to watch.
I think the more interesting thing to come out that draft pick is the one-on-one game that we may get with LeVar Ball and Michael Jordan. Because I know Michael Jordan took that personal when LeVar Ball started talking. So we definitely need to see that one-on-one. But Justis, close us out here. You know, who do you have your eye on? Because it's gonna be interesting. Because like my eyes on James Wiseman. I think that kid's gonna be a star. Yeah, I can't wait to see him play.
Yeah, I agree. You mentioned it. I know everyone expected the Warriors to make a big trade. But I think James Wiseman is a good pickup. He's over 7 foot. He can shoot the mid range, and I think that he's going to do well in the Warriors. I know we didn't get to talk about it, but Klay Thompson recently suffered a setback, torn Achilles.
I hate to see it, man.
Yeah,
it's sad. It's sad.
It's really sad. So I think that they're going to have to change their game a little bit. So I think we're going to see a little bit more of James Wiseman this season.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And the NBA season starts officially in 1 month and 2 days, to be exact. And, you know, we're going to be here to talk about it when it starts. And I can't wait for it. But coming up next, we have the MLB guys. They're ready to put us in the hot stove as everything's going around in the MLB. But stick around here on WPTV.